Hey, Peter, do you want to hear some trivia?
Oh, mate, I love a good game of trivia.
Guess what happens when a chook and two pelicans get together?
What's that, mate?
A clucking good time. That's right, you pelicans. The wobbly chook has jumped on board, keeping the bird presence strong. Whether you like a pale ale, brown ale, IPA, or a lager, the wobbly chook has you catered. Crafted from Yamba's finest chooks.
Better still, Mick, how do we get some wobbly chook?
That's easy, P2. Jump online at www.wobblychookbrewingco.com or pop into 26 Cole Street in the heart of Yamba.
And have a clucking good time.
Cluck out.
Cuckoo! Always remember, don't be a mud gudgeon and drink responsibly.
Welcome back to another episode of the Two Pelicans podcast. So you would have just missed that.
G'day, you Pelicans.
Here he was. You were sort of hung up on his
Go and have a good time there a bit later on.
Pelicans landing in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome back to the Two Pelicans podcast. I am Mick.
I'm Bo.
And we are the Two Pelicans here making fishing great once again. One cast, one throw, one yarn, one story, one mud gudgeon at a time. Mate, the intro is always different, but that's just how I fucking roll. But, mate, what's been doing? Hang on.
I was about to say, I think I need a chook.
I need a fucking chook.
Yeah,
you've had a fair bit of shit going on at work today.
Yeah, no, she's been a brutal Wednesday.
Yeah, and I sort of, I don't know if I've upset the apple cart at my place, but anyhow, that's just how we roll here.
Yeah, pasty.
My mouth. Anyhow, moving on. What's been happening?
Oh, well, I ended up coming to the Bream Comp on the weekend.
Yeah,
I wasn't coming, and then I was coming.
It's actually quite a strategic idea that you come up with, and it worked well, I assume.
Yeah, no, paid off well. So, as we know, we had a little open Bream Comp on the weekend. I was able to make it. I'm sure you're going to cover the details, but I was lucky enough to fish a bit of it and head off back to work. So I had a nice little game plan and it worked out well.
That was good. Like making the effort. Like, I mean, a lot of people just would have just not went.
Yeah, but
and obviously having a good partner like Phil there. Shout out to you, Phil. We're going to have a discussion later on in what's been doing. But it obviously worked out, and why not go for a fish in the morning, get to work, and where you are on. Sunday night, they don't cook Sunday night?
No Sunday night. So just Sunday lunch.
Just got to get through the lunch and
I'm really enjoying my bream fishing at the moment. I'm making
bass anglers there that are enjoying their bream fishing at the moment, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But
other than that, throughout the week, just been flat out working. Monday I didn't really do much. Played around with the boat again.
Yeah,
and just sort of
because the Bass Electric's not too far away now, is it?
Next weekend,
that's right.
Yeah, so crazy next weekend. So
yeah.
Just trying to work out what I'm going to do, and the fun stuff of a new bathtub going to play in Queensland. So no doubt there'll be Q-backs. That's what I call Queensland bass. So
Q-backs,
you can work that one out.
And look, talking about Queensland, hopefully you blokes don't win tonight. As we record this, we're on the eve of the State of Origin. When we come out Friday, since I made a pretty bold prediction about the Queensland Open there the other weekend, I'll make the bold prediction now. I don't actually know who's going to win, but I'm going to say this: I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think one team's going to get slaughtered.
Yeah,
and I'm just not quite sure. Obviously, with Munster's father passing, that's just fuel that Queensland don't really need. You know what I mean? From a New South Wales point of view. That's what
I thought as well. The first 10 minutes tonight is probably gonna dictate the whole game, I reckon. But anyway, how was your week, man? What did you get up to?
Look, I'll cover off the Bream stuff there in a second, but. Just caught up with some mates. Went to the Crown Hotel again. I can't believe they let me in, but this time I had to wear a stamp. And there's some respect going around when you're in my age and they're still looking at your ID. So I can look out. So
still got it.
Mate, I sort of looked at him and I said, you serious? And he's like, yeah, mate, we have to do it, this, that. And I'm like,
Open the wallet and the cobwebs coming out off
yeah,
it.
yeah. That my license doesn't usually see the light of day for anything. Even the police are pretty good. They're like, well, I never get pulled over. So, but anyhow, yeah, it was sort of that was sort of funny. And then no, it was a good night. Just caught up with mates, and I was out of there by 9:00 to partake in the Bream Open the next day, and that was a good day. But I think that's really the crux of what I got up to. But before I get into the Bream Comp, we might just roll into P2's weekly wisdom. And here we go. This is going to be somewhat of a regular segment in the show, and the little fella just likes to have his little moment still. So here we go. Hey, P2.
Hey, mate, what's up?
Mate, now that I've got this boat here and I've got the electronics on the way, I'm going to need some fishing gear.
Mate, you can't look flash in that new rig without some new fancy fishing gear.
I know.
Mate, I can only recommend one thing. I would head over to the Dire Australia website, mate, and make yourself a little bit of a wish list, and then head into your local tackle store and see if those legends can get it in. Because if there's one thing I know, mate, Dire Australia, they have it all. Whether you want a brand new rod, a nice new shiny reel, or some new line to go on it, then you're going to need some tackle, of course. They have it all. Dire Australia is your one-stop shop, and the big supporters here, the Two Pelicans podcast. Pelicans, it's P2 here with my weekly wisdom. I'm in a bit of pain, as you can feel here. I'm feeling it. You're fucking hearing it. Fucking cramps, boys. Oh, cramps are no joke. I'm bent over here like a broken stapler because it's the only way I'm not in pain. Just jumped up out of my seat after sitting down, gluing in some eyes for about 3 hours. And, the old acid or whatever the hell happens, it feels like my butt muscles are about to snap off and go fair up my backside. It's not overly pleasant. So right now, picture this. I'm bent over with a rum can in one hand, my arm up on the orbital bench sander deal, and I'm bent over talking to you Pelicans because it's the only way that it feels nice. So I reckon cramps are in the same category as gout can fuck off.
Words of wisdom from P2.
You know what? It's funny. Like, I think we sort of get like that all the time. I know on Sunday afternoon, once I cleaned up the boat and all that, I sat down for like 5 or 10 minutes and just felt little cramps happening in the calf, and got back up and I was stiff, like lower back stiff. So in all shout out to P2 as well. He got some awards there for the Lure Expo as well.
Done very well, mate. Well done.
Yeah. And that would have been the lead up for obviously that weekend when he's recorded that. So he would have been busting himself 22 hours a day just skinning timber and painting. So I imagine that is all behind him now, because I think he had a pretty good weekend with it all. And well done, mate.
Yeah, might be able to grow some skin back on the tip of those fingers now.
Anyhow, well, let's just roll into it. We'll just get into the news sort of stuff, and we'll talk about the Clarence Valley Sports Fishing Club Bream Open. Look, I think they had about close to 20-odd teams.
Yep.
I didn't even look at that stuff. But, look, I thought it was quite a good day. A lot of good bags I thought were caught.
Everyone caught bags.
Everyone caught bags, which is always good to see. Everyone sort of moved around, stayed around. A few different techniques were being used. And, at the end of the day, I think they were quite reasonable bags that come in for this time of year. Like, could have been a fraction bit off, but, it's sort of hard to tell sometimes how the bream are operating in that time of year around that spawn period. I think compared to this one, I didn't fish the last one, might I add, but I think this time around, I think the fish were a little bit more lethargic. They as the day went on, they were quite, I think, lethargic anyhow. And some of the things that I sort of took out of it was that I probably would have potentially, I threw a lot of plastics there that day. I actually packed away the crank. I couldn't really.
I did as well.
Yeah, I couldn't really nail anything on the crank. And but I found that there was a lot of short striking going on. And I think that they were probably not so much exhausted, but I think they've been on the job a bit now. And they look, don't get me wrong, some fish definitely committed. The smaller ones definitely committed pretty well, but the bigger ones I thought were short striking a bit. And but in saying that, you know, it was one of them things where I don't know if I would have changed too much. And like you said, I'm a bit disappointed with my result, but you know, anything over 3 kilos is probably a good day. But yeah, I know that I lost a couple of fish.
And when you had a fish carcass on you as well.
Yeah,
that's
really fucking annoying.
Because you genuinely know straight away your bag was bigger with that fish,
and it wasn't like any like it wasn't barotrauma or anything like that. It didn't come from the deeps. This one come from the shallows, and yeah, it was just a really bad hookup. This has happened to me only once before.
Yep.
But the fish that happened to once before probably didn't die as quick as this one. I was actually absolutely mortified how quick this fish went. I was like, wow. But anyway, I made a comment, and look, Jamie actually reached out. So I don't know if this is a wives' tale or something, but I definitely will be trying it next time. Is tip full strength Coke on them.
Well, if you're fishing with me, we'll always have Coke, mate. There'll always be a can of Coke to dip on the brims, mate. If that's going to work, I'm just going to start pouring a whole can of Coke in the live well.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I have to. You try
the pour the Coke, and I'll use it like rejuvenate.
I'm not going to go out there and just stab fish in the face and then tip Coke on them and see how they go as the experiment. But in saying that, so that was a really good pointer, and I hope he's not pulling my leg, but I'm going to try it next time. So yes, that was disappointing, but that is fishing, and I had no control over that situation. You know what I mean? Like there was just zero control. Pretty much, I kept fishing, and I could just see that it was struggling. And I just thought, well, the next fish I catch, I'm just going to throw it out. And then, look, 10 minutes later, I caught obviously a heap smaller fish. And I opened up the thing, and it was just like the eyes were like not even clear anymore. They'd already just not roll, but you know what I mean. They get that
glassiness.
Yes, and I just was okay. Well. There's not much I can do about this. I need to throw it out and get on with my life. So that's what I did.
And let me guess, when he threw him in, he just kicked off 100 mile an hour. Just
no. He sunk at the bottom like the fucking Titanic. No, he was stone cold dead.
Yeah.
So anyhow. But look, you know, at the end of the day, I think it was a good turnout, good roll in, and a lot of the guys. The fish did get over 3 kilos. So kudos and congratulations to them guys. But massive shout out to Matt Finney and his young fellow Eugene. I know them personally, and I've known Matt for a long time. And it was really, really good to see the father and son team take it out. I sort of was sitting behind them a little bit because I'll get to my Mud Gudgoen story in a minute, but I was sitting behind him there, and I was just sitting there watching Eugene's reaction. He was pumped. He was fist pumped. He sort of turned around in excitement to his father and say, "Do we actually win?
Did we do it?
Yeah." And look, they're father and son moments that I sure Matt will he'll remember that sort of stuff forever. So. But well done to the guys. He's sort of getting back into it. He's got a little tinny there now. I don't know how his back was on Monday, but congratulations. And also to Bernie and Mako as well. Only just edged out, I think, by like, I don't know what it was, like 5-10 grams.
5-10 grams of it, yep.
Fuck all.
Joey knows how that feels.
Yeah. Which button do we hit there? We should be applause that. Yeah, we'll get that applause. But okay, you can shut up now. And but I think from Justin's point of view, I think he was pretty happy with that result. It's been a tough year for some of the guys that generally do well in that club, and I think these guys put the time in as well. I think I think they might have went down and had a pre-fish on the day before. I could be wrong when I say that, but they sort of got a bit of an idea. And why not for a $100 comp? Like maybe put a bit of time in. But I just personally didn't have the time to do it. But, but look, time on the water equals success. That's what they done, and that's how they got through. Just a good bunch of people, and just a good afternoon, really. And it was sort of all done fairly quick, which I was always impressed with. But one thing one thing that I've got to bring up here, on this particular day, I was the proper mud gudgeon. I ruined a few things when I got back to the weigh-in. Massive shout out to Phil.
Sweet chili Philly.
Sweet chili Philly. My boat floated away. And Nige just come over and said, mate, your boat's out there. I'm like, I wish it just fucking sort itself out. Now I'm going to have to do something about it. And I'm sort of looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's not that deep. I don't feel like getting my balls wet. And Phil's there, and I'm like, man, do you reckon we just get in your boat and, just go get it, I'll jump in it sort of thing? He's like, yeah, no dramas, man. Fucking all good. Anyhow, as we're going out, we sort of forgot or didn't realise there were some set lines out just to the side of us.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And as Phil's gone out, you know what's happened. It's caught the fishing line. And it's like, rah, 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 rah. So next minute, poor old Phil, the guy that's trying to help me out, has fishing line all wrapped around his prop. And he's like, oh, fucking, this is going to be bad. And I'm like, no, we'll just, I sort of got there. I was hanging out the arse end of my boat, unraveling it.
Following the shit out.
Yeah. And it was all on the outside. I never got inside, and it all unwrapped properly. But then I'm thinking like, that poor kid, like he's going to come back. And I thought, I'll offer to tie this on. But we got back and they weren't there. And anyhow, I went off to the presentation. But they must have come back down, got their stuff. And afterwards, I said to Phil, I said, oh, they come and got their stuff. And he's like, yeah, no, the bloke was sitting up there. He just sort of watched us. And I thought, yeah, it was probably a bit of a circus to watch. So I reckon some people probably got a laugh out of that. But, that's not my greatest moment. And that definitely makes me the mud gudgeon of the week.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Phil's boat and fishing line, because I had a bit of a mud gudgeon moment as well with Phil's boat and fishing line. And it happened when Phil picked me up from Harwood Bridge. So I parked my car at Harwood so I didn't have to drive through all Yambas traffic to head to work, make it nice and quick. So I've just chucked my rods on the boat, and I didn't have one rod rigged up. I thought I'll decide what I'm going to, if I need to tie another crank on or another plastic, another blade. So I had what was working, I had double of. Well, I didn't have it tied up, did I? And me and Phil driving, and we're wondering why we had this mud gudgeon on our ass.
Oh.
And he was fair on our ass with the boat, and to the point where I was going to throw the rest of me chalky milk out the window, but I enjoy chalky milk, so I decided I'm drinking it. Get to the boat ramp, look at the rods, and I've got a reel that I've just re-spilled.
Oh, no.
Full of brand new 4-pound, ready to set up for my brim stuff.
Yep.
And she gone. So I think maybe old matey was telling me that I was wrapping for probably 250 metres of line around his diff. So sorry about that, champ.
Look, another story that comes out of this is just a bit of an honourable mention, actually, because we've all been there as young fellas down the fishing comp. So I pulled up there today, in the morning, and young Tommy's turned up. I said, how you going, mate? He's like, oh, he's had a big night on it. And I said, good on you, son. Like, I'm impressed. You turn up to the day and do this and that. And I sort of looked at him, and he was worse for wear. Like, he wasn't any good. And I said, oh, mate, do you want to jump in with me? Like, you look pretty fucking dusted. You know what I mean? Nah. You come to these things, you Han Solo, fucking rah. I said, nah, fair enough, mate. Fucking love your work. And, all day, it just looked like he was in all sorts. And then I think when he got back and the result that he got, he said, I'd seen him in the afternoon. He was there. As soon as he got out of the boat, he didn't worry about putting the boat on. He just went straight to the fish and chip shop to punch some grease into him.
Yeah.
And as he's come back out, I said, you feeling better now, mate? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I don't think I'll do that ever again. He goes, that was my worst result in a long time. And, he said, maybe I shouldn't do that. I said, nah, makes you better for it, I reckon.
It's all experience. I saw him first thing in the morning. He came, we went straight to the tavern, and he putted over to the tavern, and I was like, fuck her up in here, mate. And I was like, she's too rough out there for you today. He's like, thanks, man, I appreciate it. I was like, just come in close, mate. I don't care.
Yeah. But you know what, I don't know, some of the best things that I've looked back, and we've spoken about this on the podcast when Joe and I fished together as a team. Some of the best memories are just the night before, and how we ever made fishing the next day was painful at the time, but when you look back on it, funny as shit. So well done, Tommy. Also, just on a bit of news there, and this might just lead into a bit of a hint that was on the YouTube last night. I sort of get on YouTube and just see what's going on over the last, week or two or whatever. And I've seen that Byron Hill sort of started back up his YouTube stuff. So for a lot of people who don't know Byron, pretty good YouTuber, obviously in the tournament area in Australia. He made some really, really good videos and then went away to the States. And he's just been over there the last few years flying planes and playing golf and doing a bit of fishing. So, but it was good to see him back in talking about gear and fishing stuff, because I think he delivers a pretty good story. So we might try and catch up with him very soon.
That would be exciting.
And also on a bit of news, this come past my eyes a few weeks ago, and I have to be absolutely frank, I haven't done anything about it, but today I just had to, because it ended up in the newspaper. I'm like, I have to say something about this. But it's it's the actual new plan that DPI have for Mulloway, and obviously this particular person's well known in the area, John Causley, for catching big jewies.
Yep.
And so basically a bit worried about how this is going to go. It's sort of like a Mulloway harvest strategy, they're calling it, but I think a lot of people don't want the wool pulled over their eyes and see it end up something similar to the blue groper. Yeah.
Or what's now happened to the little town down in South Australia with the calamari as well.
Yeah. So Pelicans, I haven't looked into it yet, but I would suggest, if you are an avid lover of catching jewfish, that you definitely jump onto the DPI website. There's a place there where you can add your submission, but just be aware that submissions will close on the 31st of July this year, obviously. So technically you've only got about 2 and a bit weeks left to make a submission about that. So I might try and do a bit more research about that. I did see it come across my eyes there a little while ago, and I'm just sort of concerned that we are going to go down that track around what we did with the blue groper. I mean, different sort of circumstances, and how we address that, and how we, at the same token, we don't want them to be extinct either, but there has to be some balance somewhere.
But in also saying that, like in the last 3 years, just on the Clarence River, I don't think I've seen more jewfish in this river than what there is at the moment.
I think like, some of these species, like most species, like they sort of, you have hot sessions on them and then they go away again, and, tide. We know moon phase and tide, especially for these things, do play a massive part in how you catch them. But just be aware, Pelicans, if you are interested in dew fishing and want to have comment about the future of it, then jump onto DPI's website and make a submission. Like I said, what have we got there? Hang on. It's 31st of July, so I'll take that back.
Today's
3
the
weeks.
9th,
Yeah, 3 weeks, sorry. I need to get glasses. My wife's been telling me for ages. So,
Me and Tice are going to go for a jewfish tomorrow night, so hopefully
we'll make the most of it, just in case.
Fill the freezer up now.
Yeah, 100%.
But the law, I don't think the laws are bad at the moment. Anyway, I think it was a good improvement, right? Uprising the legal length limit to 70 centimeters, I think it's put a better quality estuary fish in there.
If that's what they had to do, okay. If that's what they had to do, then that's what they had to do. I definitely don't want to see them back when I remember them being 45 centimeters. But there was a middle stage, wasn't there? And
there was a 50. That was a 55 or 60,
something like
that. Yeah.
And I thought that might have been the happy norm. But obviously science has told us otherwise, and obviously science is telling us something else here. If they're going out of their way to do a some project for Mulloway that sounds all good, but I think the devil will be in the detail.
Yeah.
So we'll look into it, and we might even have a bit more further yarn about it next week. And look, if anyone listens to this show that is a jewfish specialist that has been following this, reach out to the Two Pelicans email address at twopelicanspodcast@gmail.com. That's us. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, you got any news there, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to quickly punch through a few things quickly before we call this week's guest. So a couple of big retirements in the fishing world actually over the last fortnight that's sort of been announced. So sort of want to do two honourable shout-outs. One to our man at Wilson there, Stephen Booth, finally stepping down there at Wilson. So good luck, man, to your further adventures. And yeah, if it is retirement, have fun putting your feet up completely, but I don't reckon you will. You'll get itchy. And the lovely lady Kim at ABT in the office. She's
20-something years.
20-something years with Steve.
Yeah, that's a long time to be with Steve, I'd imagine.
Yep. But yeah, lovely ladies, always happy to help. My stupid phone calls that when I call up and that. So Kim, I hope you have safe travels traveling around Australia, and all the best to you. A little competition coming up at Cania Fishing Classic 2025. If you're interested in fishing Cania's Classic this year, jump onto Cania Dam fishstocking.com and register your entry there. I don't actually know when the date is. I couldn't find it there, but yeah, if you want more information, jump onto that website and get ready for the Cania Fishing Classic for 2025. Another good thing coming up this Saturday. So it is the Mad Huey's Fishing Day.
What?
The Mad Huey's Fishing Day.
Is this a kids event though?
This is a kids event. So I reckon this
Will they be doing shoeies?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe getting a Coke out and
full strength Coke.
Full strength Coke, no sugar.
No sugar.
Yeah.
No, full strength. Yeah, it's no sugar. No. Sugar. We need sugar. We
need the sugar.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's interested in that, that's getting held at the Gold Coast Sports Fishing Club. So yeah, just jump on to www.goldcoastsportsfishingclub.com.au/kids clinic to register. It is a registered event. You can't just rock up. So that is happening this Saturday. So
that'd be pretty cool to go to. I have to say,
the Mad Hueys are huge with that club, what they do for it. And
Put away all the mad shit that they do. They do put a lot of money back into fishing, I think.
Yeah.
And assisting in like events, and obviously over the years, they're always part of the Flatty Classic and that sort of stuff. So, look, mad shout outs to them guys. Everyone sort of loves what they do, and I can't wait to see a kid have a shoey, mate. If I see that, I hope someone gets them having a shoey on the day. That'll complete me as a human.
Also, something cool that I did see on Facebook is that Eco Gear's sponsorship again has came up. So existing sponsored anglers and people that are looking to be sponsored by Eco Gear that use the product obviously and have some great pictures of that. Entries for that close on the 31st of July. So
that's and this is the power of social media, right? Like putting a post up like that. I sort of I don't know. I feel funny about the strategic approach behind that. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the world's greatest marketer. I definitely am not. But yeah, I sort of maybe would have thought about like strategically identifying who they want, but obviously they put it out to what I'd call an open market. Yeah. And see what happens.
Yeah, no, and that's it. I know there's a couple of guys on over socials that use a lot of their gear that aren't sponsored by them. So guys, chuck your name in there and see what happens.
Yeah, let's not be silly here. It's really good product. The
amount of times a ZX has got me a badge in a competition is ridiculous.
Like and from Brim Prawns like every day of the week.
Yeah.
And I know, Blakey, shout out to you, mate. You've obviously assisted in designing something for the Maruku crab that's getting a bit of hype at the moment. So
That's going to be very fun to see it after.
Yeah,
That's one of
yeah.
the things I'm looking forward to looking at.
Yeah. So no, I've seen a couple of little things that he's had there, but yeah, definitely, it's a great company that come up with different ways thinking outside the box, and some of their OG stuff is technically still the OG stuff, isn't it?
Oh, yep, yep. There's a reason why you're still paying $25 for a little piece of metal, because they slay. Also, getting on to a little bit more with the Kyogle Fishing Club.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yep.
got a little bit of news up there.
Okay.
Local member Janelle Saffron.
Sappho.
I'm just literally reading straight off Facebook right here.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
I've been informed by Water New South Wales that the gates of Bells Bay Camping Ground will be unlocked tomorrow. So that was on Tuesday. So hopefully they were unlocked today on our broadcast, which is Wednesday.
Yep.
And we have an agreement. Oh, here we go.
Right.
With them to work with Kyogle Council to work out the best way to keep it for public use.
Yes.
The minister has been very understanding, and the community's sentiment of concern over this precious place.
Well done, guys.
Well done.
Look, they're obviously not out of the woods there yet, but that's definitely a step in the right direction. How I look at this with the knowledge that I have is that it has council's really the only person the only stakeholder that can save this, right? I think from what's been said and done and how Water New South Wales operate, but I think there's the right people on council that are willing to take that challenge on. It's all going to come back to funding and like what they'd call a memorandum of understanding or a deed of agreement about what council will do, what Water New South Wales will contribute, and how that's all going to be delivered by the stakeholders. So I can't wait to see how that unfolds. But massive shout out to that community for not taking a backward step, getting on the front foot, and getting I think the people that you needed to get involved in trying to get that reopened again. And it sounds like it's heading in the right directions. Fingers crossed.
Yes, very much so. And last bit of my news is this weekend the QFFT is off at Mugra. So this was the event that was meant to be on the beautiful Clarence River when it was the shitty Clarence River. So good luck to everyone up there. Paul and Sue, you've always put on a good event. Can't wait to hear about the cheesecakes that I'll be missing out on. But yeah, good luck to all the competitors up there, and guys, smash them.
And look, if you haven't listened to any of these episodes before, we did have Paul on for a conversation around this event, or this series, I should say. And he's a pretty likable sort of bloke, wasn't he? It was great to have you on too. And apparently, from what I've been told by other anglers, that series just keeps going strength to strength. So well done.
Proud sponsor, sponsored by Carlton this year. So no, the fishing shop, Carlton's Fishing Shop.
I was about to say beer. I'll be there.
No, Carlton's Fishing Shop.
Carlton Dry.
One of the good Queensland tackle shops.
You know how many people tell me I'm a dickhead on Carlton Dry?
Really?
Yeah, that's why I drink chooks.
Yeah, rightio. There we go. All right, what are you up to? Do you reckon we give our...
I reckon we'll... I'll let you do all the intro. I'll make the phone call.
You make the phone call.
Hopefully our technology is working really, really well today, and this will be an interesting test to make sure that P1's actually followed through and tried to fix what he had to fix. So...
all right, so today's guest is Wayne Cole, a.k.a. Coley. This is one of the fellas from the Fishing Shed. So
Fishing Shed Bathurst, Wayne speaking.
Hey, Wayne, it's Bo from the Two Pelicans podcast. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. Good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, living the dream up here in sunny Grafton today.
Oh, I could imagine.
How's it down there in Bathurst today, mate? She a bit fresh? Cold?
Always. You know, obviously when they discovered Bathurst, it was in the spring and autumn months.
So just for our climately special listeners, what's the temperature down there today, mate?
I think it's about 9 at the moment.
9.
Might have actually pushed into 10.
Yeah.
So, like it, when the sun's out, it feels good. But once that breeze kicks in, yeah.
Yeah. Look, on a side note, before we get into the topic, we used to go down there and play hockey down at Bathurst there when I was a young fella, and one of the fun things that we used to do was get like people's jocks and then like put them in like little ice containers and send them outside for the night. So it was fun times had by all, but
but this year's definitely been. My German Shepherd looks at his water bowl and it's just like a big ice block.
Look, thanks for joining us. We've just called you up just to talk about a particular topic that I think was raised by yourself and a few others around the Macquarie Perch. Tell us a little bit about the Macquarie Perch and how come you've gotten involved in this particular topic.
Well, it kind of, when you look at history, we come to a country that was abundant in a lot of these species, and the Macquarie Perch was, first identified back in the early days of 1815, 1817 type thing, and was one of the most prolific species within the Macquarie River catchment.
Yeah.
And in a space of about 9 years, we fished them to non-existence. So it's simple as that. We did it.
Yeah.
And we haven't probably learned the lessons from the past. So the Macquarie Perch takes its name from the Macquarie catchment, and it's probably the last catchment that doesn't actually have them, within the system. So they've done successful, placement of them in other systems, but
okay.
So now it's a time to get the Macquarie Perch back in the Macquarie River where it belongs.
So you just mentioned that the other systems they've restocked them by the sounds of it successfully. Can you elaborate a little bit more about where them stocking projects have happened at?
Well, they did a successful stocking program in the Abercrombie catchment back in the, they put about 19,000 captive bred fingerlings in the waterways, and surveys by about May 2017, collected evidence that the refuge population was now successfully breeding. So it's the first time since the early 1900s that a new breeding population of Macquarie Perch has been established in New South Wales, which is fairly significant, and that goes to do with a lot of work with DPI and volunteers.
Yeah. Look, it's definitely something that no one wants to see anything be extinct. I think it's probably the number one fact. One thing that I sort of, look, you touched on it just when we asked you a little bit about it, is obviously, as time has gone on with infrastructure, farming, sediment. One thing that sticks in my mind is I know that the federal government is looking at doing some of this environmental waterway / flooding of particular areas back out in that western region. Do you think that will improve the quality or the opportunity for this fish to be restocked and survive for years to come if they get the stocking program there?
Well, I think that's, unfortunately, we don't have that crystal ball to look that far into the future. Like, basically, the current project at Wimbendale Dam is a closed system, so it's not actually, there's no access to the public through there. And it's, that we're finding Macquarie Perch up the Wimbendale rivulet, which means they are moving out of the dam. But a lot of things have taken place to get them to that point, and that's been like the removal of about 1,500 brown trout out of there, which are all naturally spawned. So water management is definitely something that needs to be looked at, and unfortunately there are so many stakeholders at the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, geez, I'm glad I'm not in charge of that meeting.
I've had the opportunity to see some of that stuff unfold in my current life, but you're definitely right. It's quite a challenge to, I guess, get all the stakeholders in one room and sort of come up to an idea when food production and other essentials are required. Like the poor old fish is probably one of the last things that get brought up in that sort of discussion. But I was just going to say, what do you think moving forward that DPI can possibly do to try and get a successful breeding program in there? And is it going to be more than just DPI getting the numbers of volunteers in there? Is it going to take a lot more than that?
Yeah, I think it will take a lot more than that. Like, as we all know, with government agencies, they get a budget. They've got to kind of balance that budget with all the projects they've got to do. It's not just Macquarie Perch, it's trout cod as well and the like. But yeah, definitely the CAS and other volunteer groups are definitely, and Oz Limited Fishing is another organisation that helps out a lot. And that's the thing. It's about educating people what it's all about. And people always say to me, they go, "Oh, it's because of carp. It's because of trout." That's two of probably 100 reasons why we're having trouble with native species and all that. So, but yeah, it's definitely education is the key in getting the younger people involved in it. And and that starts at tackle shops. It starts with taking kids out fishing. It's about them appreciating what they've got. And like the only thing we should be leaving is footprints wherever we go.
No, exactly right.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So with what I'm hearing, so trout is a big problem where you are. Is that right? Like, because where we are, trout sort of get held in a bit of a little halo sort of. We sort of classify them as a native because we produce $1 out of them. But it sounds like where you are, trout are as almost bad as the carp.
Well, that's the thing. You get passionate fishers that just say, "No, they're not ours. Why do we have a closed season because of them?"
Yep.
And the like. And I kind of look at it this way: is my dealings with native fish is the fact that they are such slow growers. So when they're thinned out of a system and you want to see them returned, it is a long and large process. Where trout has seen as, even though they're an introduced species, there is actually $1 return for them when it comes to tourism and the like. And you look at areas around Oberon in particular. Fly fishing is very, very popular, and it is something that it brings fishers up there to look for it. But last year's trout season up here was actually quite poor, and even now, like at the moment, it's one of those conversations. Has anyone seen a redfin? Which isn't a bad thing, but there's a lot of.
But that's one of those other fish that sort of gets in that little glory halo as well. That it's like, it's sort of
as a pest that it is, but it's still
Oh, it's 100%. Like the EHN virus, had a major impact in around this area, which has been a good thing. Like, we put 66,000 natives in the Macquarie River early in this year, and the best part about it was there was bugger all redfin and trout about. So let's hope that
they had a chance, had an opportunity.
And that's what it comes down to is a lot of things too. Like the clearing of land and the like, and the sedimentation, like. All the facts are there of what it's all about. But yeah, trout. There's kind of that push. That some people don't agree with trout being stocked, and at the moment, like if it wasn't really for stocked fish, well, in particular in the Macquarie River, there wouldn't be any fish in the Macquarie River. Like DPI studies, along this river section here, so clearly indicate that every native fish that has landed has been a stocked fish.
Okay.
There's no natural recruitment.
So is that done by like a tagging program or like a microchip program?
It's a DNA program. The fisheries actually go out and electrofish these areas. Take a sample of the fish. It's usually a pin jab through the fin, and they can literally identify which hatchery they come from.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like that's really good technology.
It is, and that's the sad part about it. Like a young fella landed an 83 centimetre cod, just before the weather turned cold on the surface, and on surface lure in the afternoon. And worst part about it was it's a stock cod. There's no natural recruitment for them, and so that's kind of the thing that's sad. If we didn't stock rivers with natives, with trout in managed numbers, there'd be nothing to fish for.
Well, don't worry about that. We just brought up on the show there before that the DPI also looking into a mulloway or jewfish harvest program, which members around the Clarence area aren't real happy about because they've got concerns around, maybe being like the blue groper and being closed out from targeting them species. Do you think with what that scenario, do you feel that you'll ever see a point where these fish may get off the endangered species list in New South Wales?
Well, I'm hoping that the protection status for say trout cod and Macquarie Perch is lifted, but like all fish shows, but catch and release has probably been the best educational tool for especially young fishers. And you look in Victoria where they've actually had quite a good success when it comes to return of Macquarie Perch and trout cod, and some of their systems down there, in particular the Ovens River, where they're still protected. So you can still go out and catch them, and just take a photo, stick them back in there, and contact the DPI and let them know where you got them from, and go from there. Like you asked people in Bathurst, when was the last time a trout cod was caught?
Yeah.
And it's a hit and miss process. You might find a photo from last year, or a lot of people misidentify them as well. And but yeah, it'd be great. Wouldn't it be great if the conversation was, "What do you mean they caught a carp?" Like wouldn't that be great if the fishing conversation was like that? So, but it comes down to just persistence and just we just got to keep pushing forward. So like. The reason I'm become quite passionate is I went out to Wimmendale Reserve with the Safala CAS guys and DPI, Luke and Sam, and sat there and listened to them. Like just sat there and listened to the people who can tell you the entire span
subject matter experts, essentially.
Too right. And then you look at these, the waterways we're dealing with, and since they've actually knocked the trout out, there's been a massive increase in native fish like blackfish and galaxias. Where 5 years ago when they first did the surveys, you couldn't find them. It was good to see some good slimies, sort of like out and about. So it's about, and that was, I looked at that and went, I don't want to have that saying, not on my watch. Let's give it a go, guys. Let's get out there and sort of like bring some of these species back.
Look, you brought up a valid point there, and it's like a next generation thing. And I believe it's a generational change, but like a lot of fishing clubs and competitions now have gone to like a catch and release or photo, you know what I mean, and to minimise fish casualty. So, yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction in that respect, but I think the problem is now, and what you're alluding to, is that we need the funding and the people to build that stock up, and then all the other factors around the environmental factors as well to make sure that these fish have every chance to succeed.
100%, and budget's definitely it. But like again in Macquarie Street, everyone's fighting for their own bit of, they're scratching for everything.
Yeah, that's right.
And us fishers, we don't make up a majority of the population. Deep down inside, we do, but we don't, and we're fighting for something that people just, they want to go to work, they want to earn their money, they want to go home, pay their bills. But wouldn't it be good, to see the rivers look a whole lot better than what they are? And and it does. It all starts with us. It starts with what we put down the sink. It starts with all that type of, and it starts with sensible fishing. And we respect bag limits, we respect size limits. And let's not risk our sort of like sport. And you still get the cowboys out there. You still get it, but
yes,
I don't think it's as bad as what they make out.
Hopefully, the good thing is there you don't have spear fishermen out there.
Nah, mate. If you want to spear fish and in weather up here, mate, good luck to you. So. About the only thing you can bow hunt for carp up this way as long as they're not in trout streams, and that's quite the kids like getting involved in that.
Yeah, okay, good.
That'd be fun.
That is fun. So, but spear fishing, you just take your head some days, right? So, it's got to start with carp as well, but unfortunately, that's about 20 levels above our pay grade.
Yeah, well, carp controls are just I don't know. It's bigger than Ben-Hur issue, isn't it? Really, like how do you get on top of something like that?
Yeah. Well, you look at New South Wales, is that we're the only state that it's actually written in their primary industries handbook that you can release carp at point of capture. So to me, that should be the first thing that changes.
Wow.
So and a lot of people go, no, that's not true. screenshot, send it to them. Yep, New South Wales is the only state. Victoria's worded well. It is an offence. So, and Queensland's the same. It's an offence to return, these invasive species in there. So, but New South Wales, no, you can, and you kind of can do it, and then you just sit back and you just shake your head. It shouldn't be. So,
I was about to say I don't release a carp.
No,
I've never released a carp.
I can't believe. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone do it, but I didn't realise that fact. So,
but it makes me think about it, because when I've fished Victoria, I've seen carp bins. When I fish Queensland, I see carp bins.
Yep.
You fish New South Wales, you don't see carp bins.
No, it's to me, it's about you just dispose of it. They make great fertiliser. So that's they grow your tomatoes really well. So, but it's South Australia. People actually do eat them. It is an eaten species overseas, but there's far better things to eat, like chicken and steak.
Yeah. You might as well. Like it's probably on par with like the old water hen, right? So you get the water hen, you throw it in and throw your brick in the camp oven, and throw your water hen in the camp oven, and then you just eat the brick.
Worst part about it is on our Facebook page there may be an incriminating video of about Wes actually eating carp, and the worst part about it was just a fish. Like we actually ate it, and we went, apart from it being bony, we were like, it's just fish.
Yeah, I've eaten it, and it's just like any other freshwater fish, muddy and shit.
Exactly, and you go say one thing, they do fight all the way to the bank. They do put up a go and all that. So, and it's funny, Europeans, they love them, and we're just like, well, guys, come over and fish them all out.
Yeah, come take them.
Let's get some tourism going. Get them over here and skull drag them out.
Yeah.
I'll buy the corn for them.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, but it's like it's just there's a multifaceted of things that what's impacted our native fish and and the people that push it back. Like you look at some of these organisations, and they are made up of the us 50 plus people, and you got to get the young kids involved in it and keep it going. So and that's especially say chasing bass and all that. Like some of the bass areas I've seen are just absolutely pristine, and you kind of think, wow, how lucky are we to have this ability?
Yeah, you're right. Look, and up where we are, we have some of the most magical rivers you'll ever see up here. But you bring up a really good point about the next generation, I suppose, and that's a really valid point. But I think I just don't know how we like you say, integrate the next generation into this. I know Ozfish do a bloody good job at trying to pull in new members, get the next generation involved. I also think there's other things going on in the space around. I know up here anyhow. I'm mainly talking for up here, where there's like I'm going to get this wrong, but it's like a Clarence Valley Alliance thing, where there's some concerns around the prospect that there could be mining near some of our river systems, and that brings in other stakeholders that want to protect the river. And my mind there is that if we get these other people in that want to protect the river, then if they're protecting the river, obviously they're going to protect that fish in the process, and there's more voices being put out there, you know what I mean? Where before, and I feel like I'm going to get this politically wrong here, but, if a greener come along and said, oh, this and that, and no, that's it, we're Peter Garrett-like, then, people just walk away, or the general sort of fishing bloke sort of walked away. But now I'm starting to see more cohesion with this sort of stuff, and I think it's for the good. I'm not going to say too much about my thoughts on these sorts of things, but more people with more voices in numbers has to be a good thing for the river systems moving forward, which will then hopefully flow on to better fish management.
Oh, that's it, right? Don't hold back when it comes to your feelings on mining and all that stuff. But it's the same around here. Like it's we are a big agricultural area. There's no two ways about it. And but we also have a lot of history on our side as well. And, you look at some of the water quality testing that's done, and, where these Macquarie Perch are, there's virtually forever chemicals in the water because of gold and copper mining, back in the day. And we're sort of like, we have sewage works that sort of like, filter and clean the water, and what do? Pump it back in the river. So, I think we've got some serious hard questions we've got to ask is why are some of our native fish struggling in their native rivers? And it just got to come back to, what's in the water? Why aren't they breeding? The future of that's got to be, education. And you don't want to open a Pandora's box on things, but you got to ask the question: how come you read the stories of the past of how prolific the species were, and they've all gone? So and it comes down to that generational thing. Is it's us fishers look after it, and we hopefully will pass it on to the next generation, and away we go. Like it's hopefully we can get that going. But the big thing is that balance between the future of the area, compared to a small species of fish and all that. So
Look, it is the delicate balance, but it's a conversation that probably, in my opinion, still needs to be had. And you nailed it on the head there about, you want the next generation to appreciate these things, and I think that should be at the forefront of. I think let's just say the state's decision making in some of these issues moving forward.
Oh, for sure. The conversation has to be had. And you look, for example, the National Carp Control Plan, that conversation has to be had. Victoria's pushing ahead with enclosed trials of it to see how it goes. There's a lot of, concern, from certain sectors about, what will be the impact of this and the impact of that. And, but it's, and in the moment, to me, it's a case of doing nothing is worse than doing something.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. No.
You don't want to be seen as doing nothing. And, around here, a bit like up your way, we have high velocity water, or where we have high velocity cold water. But you head out west where you've got that slow velocity warm water, where just they're breeding in bucket loads, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Hey, I was just gonna say we're just gonna wrap it up, but Wayne, do you just want to give the business a plug there before we finish up today?
Yeah, for sure. So we're the Fishing Shed Bathurst. We're the only locally independent tackle store in town. We're not a big chain or anything like that. And at the end of the day, guys, we do TN60s for $25 each. There's a plug.
Jesus, I might do an online order.
Jump online. Yeah, it's a case of we always want to make fishing affordable, and that's what it's all about. As you know, we've proven that you don't need to pay for the big name stuff to get really, really good results. But that's what we're all about. We do Warfighter coffee, on-track meals. Mr. Fishing Shed, she's about to duck off on the variety bash in August, and mate, it's we're parked in the RSL car park, plenty of parking, and pop in, and the heater's on, and we've actually just put in for our permit to display a Macquarie Perch and trout cod.
Okay,
and
nice.
We've actually got in the shop already. We've got a Murray cod and some eeltail catfish and silver perch, which we purchased from Narrabri Fish Farms. Solely because we stock yabbies for bait and all that stuff. We get from there. So
cool.
It's good, and the kids love seeing it, and that's what it's all about. So they're the ones that they're the ones that got to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Look, thanks for your time there, Wayne. We're going to get going. Thank you for updating us on that, and we'll be touching base with you in the future to see how things are going down there with that.
Cheers, boys. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. Well, there you have it, guys. That was a pretty enlightening yarn. And Wayne sort of seems to be quite across what's happening down there with the Macquarie Perch. But one thing that strikes me about Wayne is that he's also there trying to make fishing great again. Trying to make it better for the next generation, and kudos to for him for doing that. Like I just if anyone just listened to that, like the man's passionate about it.
You could hear it. And if you are heading down to Bathurst, drop in and say g'day to Wayne. And Yeah, send us a picture. Chuck it up onto the two Pelicans. I'd love to see. I'd love to see the aquarium down there, and get a TN60 for $25.
Get a TN60
for $25. Get that
help
up,
a brother out, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, righto. No, that was really good yarn. So no, thanks Wayne for that, and thanks for organising that too, buddy.
No, all good.
Anything else you want to bring up before we take off? We need to talk about some lures that you've
We
got
need
here,
to talk
mate.
about a few little lures here. And obviously we talk about people that support us and jump on the show and look after us. And we're coming back to Baramba straight up.
All right. What's Matty got for us?
He's a genius. I love him. I absolutely love him. So I'm obsessed with his chin nuts at the moment. I think I bought all of BCF Grafton out the other day. So if you're looking in Grafton, I'm sorry. Bo's Shed has them all. And shout out to the lady who sold them to me, because I think I got them for the price that Matt sells them to the shop.
Oh, you might get her in trouble.
Anyway, so chin nuts, been loving them, putting them on the cranks. But the biggest thing I'm excited to put them on, and this guy just came out, Matty said he would have them out for after.
And just before you do that, one thing I just want to point out to the viewers: 3 different sizes. We've got my eyes are shit.
We've got a 150th,
132, and a 124th ounce. So for anyone that loves throwing hard bodies, to have that ability to adjust that lure to go down that deeper or come up a bit, in that sort of range, especially around wintertime as well. But even like targeting deeper edges, I think I'm going to start maybe throwing them on some like just a little bit longer hard bodies and targeting flathead on edges.
And you want to know, that's interesting you said that. But you want to know one other thing I'm liking about these is that I can throw a crank out, and I don't know, maybe I've got shit live scope or my screen's outdated and I don't have the best, but I can't see 100 meters out in front of me. But if I put one of these on, I can probably start seeing it.
Yeah, okay.
30 meters out in front of me, a little bit better. So I'm liking that. Big thing I was waiting for is the stinger shrimp. And now the stinger shrimp has came out in a new size, and this is the size I've been waiting for. This is the 55 mil.
That's a brim lolly.
4.5 grams.
Man, that looks pretty sexy, eh?
Oh, yeah. Little stinger hook there on the back, naming the stinger shrimp. That there is the motor oil profile. It's just...
Really. So it absolutely looks red hot. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, we do have this on YouTube. So if you want to get a visual, just jump over there. You'll figure it out. But I'm salivating at the moment. That looks actually Did you want that?
I'll give it to you.
No, shit stirring you.
But the beauty about these is that it's only 4.5 grams. So you are going to get a nice float. But if you are fishing those tidal areas that you do need, underneath has perfect little spot to whack the little nutty on. The little nutties on. So just under there, it literally just twists straight on. It's so easy.
And I love the idea of that. Just in, like you said, just in that current. Don't get me wrong. You like to have that sort of flat fall, but when you've got that current, you sort of just need that to get down to where the fish are. You know what I mean? By the time it's doing this and you've got the current, and once again, this won't make sense to anyone on Spotify, but basically your lure's getting taken away with the current. And you're sort of dragging it out of the bite zone. Just having that little bit of weight on there definitely will help it get into the strike zone in that bit of current. So,
and awesome. hopefully get those more bites. And the beautiful thing about it is with these, this is the small pack. There's 3 different sizes, so you can just taper your way down with your own weight. I think it has 6 colors. This is a banana prawn. It is like a fluoro yellow, orange. It's off its head.
Let's have a look at that one.
So
this is good.
There's some really good ones. There's a little white one, a little half white one that's got some nice white flicks on it. So anyone that's looking for a new prawn lure, jump out, go check out the stinger shrimp, 55 mil, 4.5 grams. You will not be disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to the ferry tonight after work. I'm going to get an EP.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. That's probably going to work out for you.
Oh, I reckon first cast. Honestly.
Yep.
And done a few little bath tests. They just want to sink like
flat.
Yeah.
Mm,
There's no rolling over. It's just bang like that.
Yeah, and that's what you want.
Hook presentation straight up. That little stinger, that gives me a woody every time I look at it.
All right, mates, and you've got one more.
I've got one more from our boys at Hideout.
These things are everyone loves these things, but how's the colour in it?
Yeah, so this is the Hideout 70 SDA, so super deep attack. And this one, I'm going to take it out of the box. The reason they call it a super deep is that it does, on the bib here, have a little spot for a chin nut. So it brings me into the other fact of using the chin nuts.
Yeah.
So these guys, if you've seen them, they use a really heavy chin nut, and why they do that is the reason they call it the super deep is they get it right down and banging it on the bottom.
Yep.
So I'm really excited to have a bit of a deep crank with this, but with a little crank.
Yeah, but this time of year, if we're talking brim and bass will be fine, but this time of year, brim will destroy that.
Oh yeah, I nearly took it on. I nearly took it on the weekend.
I reckon
because I've had this for 2 weeks now from the boys, and I was like, no, if I take it, I'll fucking lose it, and I won't have it for the episode. The episode's done.
The episode's done now. It's free game now. It's going. But I think
What about the color of that?
I know it's unreal. It's sexy as shit. And I like the spec. Like the spec's coming back into a thing, isn't it? Yeah. There's a few brands doing that now. And for good reason too, because I don't know whether it catches us, but I do believe it does catch.
It's called salt color. So there you go. Salt.
There you go.
Yeah, that's brim.
Yeah, it's a prawn color anyhow, or shrimp color we like to call it. So mates, thanks for showing us that stuff. Now,
no worries.
I've got something else to waste money on. So thanks. Righto, guys, we've gone over our hour today. Look, if you enjoyed the show today, give us a like, give us a shout out. Make sure you download the episodes. If you want to have a conversation of anything that's come up related on the show, reach out to us on our socials or the email twopelicanspodcast@gmail.com. Contact us on Messenger. Just before we go, the prize stuff, I'll get that finalised over the weekend for our 50th episode. I haven't forgotten about it, just going to let it roll through to the weekend, and we'll name the winners over the weekend.
There you go, so keep tagging.
And yeah, I think that's about us, mate. You got anything else?
No, that's about it.
All right, guys, you've been listening to Pelicans Podcast. I'm Mick.
I'm Bo.
And we are going...
My name is Jeff.
Yeah. Oh.